You know, there's this tiny, almost invisible gap between feeling an impulse and actually doing something about it. And honestly, mastering that little space can change just about everything. So in this explainer, we're going to break down how you can gain some real control over those immediate reactions and learn to choose your responses instead of just letting them happen to you.
Oh, you know this feeling. Your phone buzzes. It's a text from a coworker or maybe your partner, and it's got a certain tone. And bam, your chest tightens, you feel that heat in your face, and before you've even really finished reading the message, your thumbs are already flying, firing back a reply you'll probably regret in about 5 minutes.
It's like a reflex, isn't it? Just pure instinct. But why? Why does that instant, often super unhelpful reaction feel so urgent in the moment? Well, that's exactly the question we're going to dive into.
So this all leads us to what you could call the instant reaction problem. And trust me, it shows up everywhere. In our relationships, at our jobs, even in the way we talk to ourselves.
The second a trigger hits, maybe it's your partner's tone of voice, a comment in a meeting, or your kid just having a total meltdown, your body's engine just revs up. Your mind starts scrambling, building this whole case for why you're right and they're wrong. And in that moment of chaos, just reacting, well, it feels like the only way to let off the pressure.
But what if there's another way out of that spiral? There is. And it's this beautifully simple but incredibly powerful idea. So let's meet the pause.
Now, the pause isn't about being passive or just staying silent. No. It's actually a really active moment. It's the skill of noticing that first impulse, making a conscious choice to interrupt it, and then picking a better move. It's a true moment of power.
And this right here is the heart of it. Reacting is pure autopilot. It's a habit, a reflex that just happens in the heat of the moment. But responding? That's different. That's a choice. That's a decision you make with your values, your goals right there in front of you. One is a reflex, the other is you in the driver's seat.
So what's actually going on inside our heads when this happens? Well, a great way to think about it is that your brain has its own built-in brake pedal.
Okay, the sciencey term for this is cognitive inhibition. Don't worry, it's simpler than it sounds. It's a key part of what's called your executive function, which is basically the CEO of your brain, helping you manage your focus and control your actions. It's how you steer yourself when life tries to poke you off course. And look, you use this skill all the time, probably without even realizing it. Every time you stop yourself from interrupting someone, or resist the urge to check your phone when you feel anxious, or you type out that angry email but decide not to send it, yep, you're hitting that mental brake pedal. That's cognitive inhibition right there in action.
But here's the catch. When you're under stress, that brake pedal gets way harder to push. Stress basically hijacks your nervous system, flipping it into fight or flight mode. It wants quick, old habits, not slow, careful thinking. And the result? Stress literally shrinks the amount of space you have to hit the brakes.
So you might be thinking, okay, is this some kind of superpower that only geniuses have? I mean, some research does connect cognitive ability with these kinds of skills. So, do you need a super high IQ to master the pause?
Absolutely not. No way. While there might be some connection, the science is really clear on this. The pause isn't some fixed trait you're born with. It's a skill. And just like any other skill, like learning guitar or lifting weights, it gets stronger the more you practice it. It's a muscle.
Which of course brings us to the best part. If it's a muscle, how do we take it to the gym? Let's get into the practical tools for how you can actually train this mental muscle in your everyday life.
Okay, here is a fantastic little routine called the 6-second reset. You can use it anywhere. Step 1, exhale slowly for about 6 seconds. That long exhale is a direct signal to your nervous system to calm down. Step 2, name the feeling. Just label it in your head. This is anger, that's fear. It actually helps to dial down the intensity. Step 3, name the urge. Be honest. I feel the urge to attack, or I want to defend myself. And finally, step 4. Now that you've created a little space, you can choose your next move based on your values, not just that raw initial urge.
Next up, let's be real. Willpower is flaky, especially when we're stressed. It's just not reliable. So instead of relying on willpower, add friction. You want to make your impulsive actions just a little bit harder to do. Think of them as speed bumps. Waiting 10 minutes before you reply to that intense text, or turning off notifications, these things buy your brain the precious time it needs to make a better choice.
And finally, you gotta build the muscle with small, daily reps. These drills might seem almost too simple to work, but that's their magic. Just pause for one single breath before speaking, or count to 3 before you unlock your phone.
Doing this consistently is way, way more important than doing it intensely. It's all about those reps.
Okay, so you're starting to build the habit. But how do you actually use it in a conversation with someone else without seeming, I don't know, cold or weird? Let's look at how to pause like a pro.
Using a pause in a real conversation can feel awkward at first, for sure. The secret is you just narrate it. You say what you're doing. A super simple phrase like, "Give me a second to think," totally changes the vibe. It signals you're not ignoring them, you're actually engaged and thinking about what they said.
Here's another one I really like. You can frame your pause as a sign of respect. Saying something like, "I want to answer this well," shows the other person that their question is important to you. It turns your silence from a passive, awkward thing into an active sign that you care.
And for those really heated moments, sometimes being direct is the most powerful thing you can do. Saying, "Hey, I'm pausing for a second so I don't just react," is incredibly honest. It doesn't just buy you time, it actually invites the other person to understand what's happening for you, and it can seriously de-escalate the tension. Now, we have to have a quick reality check here. Some days, hitting the pause button is going to feel impossible. That does not mean you've failed. It usually just means your system is running on empty. Things like not getting enough sleep, being totally burnt out, anxiety, ADHD, or trauma, all of these can shrink your ability to hit the brakes. So be kind to yourself and maybe check the basics first.
So let's just boil it all down. The pause isn't magic, it's not a superpower, it's a trainable skill that your brain already knows how to do. It's the simple, repeatable act of creating a little bit of space on purpose so that you can shift from being a reactor to being a responder.
And that really brings us to the final thought. This isn't just some interesting theory to think about. It's a practical tool for your life, right now. So the real question I have for you is, where are you going to choose to use your pause today?